Hey y'all, well, good Monday evening to you. Here we are 4 days into the third month, slipping by quick, isn't it? Had a lot of response over the last couple of weeks, and just wanted to start off and say thank y'all so much for all the support and the kind messages, and goodness, thousands have interacted on the page, and just eternally humble and grateful for all the support, just as a old farm boy walking around out in the pasture trying to be the light and share the good stories, right? But got something I want to show y'all here in a minute. Before I do, I come up here, I was thinking I got with all those messages, of course you get a couple of different ones along the way. We'll just leave it at that. But there's a old stump in this little sweetgum grove. There's actually sweet gums and a lot of sassafras trees, little ones, in this patch of woods here in the middle of the pasture. As a kid, growing up on this place, my cousins were a little older than I was, and this is where they would sight in all their guns for ahead of hunting season or just personal defense or whatever it was. And I remember when all they would gather, of course it sounded like a war going on out here, but over time, matter of 5 or 6 years, maybe a little less, they shot that tree to death and killed it. Big old sweetgum tree. It's funny because it got the last laugh. As you can see, there's hundreds of little sweetgums growing up in that patch from where that big old tree used to be. That's been a long time ago, but in more recent years, that tree again came to mind through a coworker's reference on something a few years back, and then even once more this past week as I read through a message from someone on the page. It was a private message, and I'm not going to go into a lot of it, but they were lamenting a couple of things, and decided that my thoughts wasn't for them, and that's okay. And I thought about it. I was actually going to visit with some of my close friends about what was said. It wasn't anything really crazy, but then I stopped, and I remembered that tree, and I remember, more importantly, what my coworker had told me. We were fellow peer management people, and we'd made a commitment, and I've tried to stick with that since. It makes so much sense. Maybe someone comes in and talks about a fight that they've had, or an argument with someone they love, or they have some bad things to say about the boss or another coworker, or just someone in general. Maybe it's bad mouthing about the government or this, that, and the other, and that's fine. You can have those discussions. But overall, learn to be like that old sweetgum tree up there and be a bullet trap. Absorb that negativity. It's there anyway. I mean, it's in your face. They're telling you about it. But choose to be the place that it goes to die. Because if it's where it dies, it can't keep spreading. I see folks of certain persuasions, whether political leanings, and they'll share some things on Facebook, just something just obviously fake and egregious, getting everybody worked up in a fervor, yet they're trying to share the good. Well, that's not how you do it. If it comes to your timeline, let it die there if it's negative. It's not what we're supposed to be thinking on. I'm not talking about personal discussions and things of that nature, but just overall negativity. Be the bullet trap. Thought about that as I read those two little messages, and politely just put them in the bin, and we move on. That's where the negative went to die, as it should be, right? Technology can be a little challenging for some folks. It was for me just a minute ago. I couldn't get this thing to act right, but it is what it is. It reminded me of the young man that went and took a young lady on a date. I think they were probably 16 years old, and went out to the movies and had a good time. He had her back in plenty of time for curfew, about 11 o'clock. Walked her to the porch and expected his good night kiss on their first date. Well, he politely asked her for it, and she politely declined, saying, "Are you crazy? My whole family's in there, and they're sleeping. I don't know." He said, "Well, it's just a little kiss, and we had such a good time. I thought it'd be nice." She said, "You're wild. I can't do that." He's leaning on the front porch this whole time on the wall there, and keeps pleading with her a little bit about it. She said, I just can't do it because they already teased me enough. Well, about that time, the door flung open, and there stood her sister, straight out of her bed, pajamas on, hair all a mess. And she looks at both of them. She said, would you just kiss him already? If you're not going to do it, I'll do it. If you don't want me to do it, Dad said he'll come down here and kiss him. But whatever you do, please take your hand off the intercom button. Hey, Phelps, well, I don't know where it cut off at. Silly thing. I'm talking about technology and it shuts me down. Anyway, hope y'all got that. If you didn't, I don't know if I can do it twice. But all is good here on the place. We still don't have baby goats. I've got them out grazing over here on the other side of the barn. She's due to pop any day, but I figured getting out in this pasture and moving around would help things a little bit. I hope they hadn't slipped by me and went to the road. I don't believe they have, because the herd dog's over there. He's kind of a different cat, or dog, I guess. That's not how the saying goes, though, is it? But I've noticed him with these goats. He hadn't ever really attacked anything, but he herded them the other night. They got back to that wood line, and I guess he didn't like that. There's coyotes back there, and I guess he knew something I didn't. He ran all the way up there and got behind them and just drove them right back to their pen and sat there and made sure they stayed in there. So I thought that was kind of cool. But it'd be nice if he did that when they eased up there to the road, but he didn't want no part of them up there. I was hoping to show y'all old Tiny the rooster. Don't let the name fool you. Oh, I should have figured. There they are. Found the goats. They found the chicken feed. I'm telling you, there's some kind of messing. Let me turn this around. What are y'all doing in there? Now, I can't really go in this chicken coop with this phone because the signal will die. It's already sketchy enough. But, well, look at that. Ain't that something? Well, I let them eat the grass and that little bit of chicken feed. Those chickens said, we're going behind the gate over here. There's some critters in the yard. It's always something around here, y'all. The subscribers see some of that behind the scenes from, had a mysterious item in my Burger King bag the other night that I had to share. I don't know why they put it in there. That's the silliest thing, but whatever. Subscribers thought that was funny. But you got to be on your toes around here. It can change on a dime, but it is what it is. Sometimes I think we wonder, how do we be the light? How do we spread good? How do we absorb that negativity? Well, I got some bad news for you. We can't do it on our own at all. Even though we're designed for it, we just can't pull it off. I was thinking about how to put that, and these old gloves came to mind. I just work barehanded. It works better for me. But these gloves, these are just old leather work gloves, right? We've all seen them, probably had a pair of them. Yours probably look a little dirtier. Doesn't mean I ain't working. My hands show it instead of the gloves. But that glove is well stitched. It's tough, and it's designed to work. But if I take that glove and I tell it to pick up this shovel right here, let me see, turn this around. If I tell it to pick up that shovel, what do you think is going to happen? Nothing. Even though it's designed to work, that shovel's going to sit right there. So maybe that old glove needs a little encouragement. So maybe I need to talk to it a little bit and tell it, you can do it. You can pick up the shovel. Nothing. Well, maybe it needs a little training. Maybe if I tell it to take the thumb and close it on the index finger and pick up the glove, pick up the shovel. Nope, the shovel's still there. That's probably what it is. It needs to fellowship with other like gloves, right? So I'll give it a pair there. See if it does anything different. Nope. I'll even put the shovel a little closer to it. There they are, gathered together. Nothing. Not doing a thing. Well, is it the fault of the glove? Not really. I mean, I know what it is. It's got to commit. Maybe it needs to recommit to being a glove. It's forgotten that's what its purpose is. Maybe it just needs to rededicate. Huh? Nope, that didn't work either. But it's designed for work. In order for this glove to work and for it to fulfill its intended purpose, it's got to be filled. Filled with a human hand that takes in the thumb and all four of those fingers. That's how it can pick up this shovel. And that's so like our walk on this earth. We're designed to be good, even though our Adamic fall depleted us of that. We were designed for a purpose and for a good work. But until we let Christ fill up our glove, our vessel, even though we're designed for work, it ain't gonna happen. So that's why it's important, above all everything else in my mind, is to let him fill the vessel. Let him apply what's needed inside that design to be the light and be the good. That's what saves, but overall, it's not gonna happen long term, just like that old glove. No matter how much put another glove around it or try to teach it or try to instruct it or try to motivate it, until it's filled with the right element, it's not going to do anything but lay there and just be an empty glove. That really impacted me as I thought that through. And it works for me, whether it works for you or not. I can't help it. Little Waylon's in the living room. That's one good little dude. I didn't want to wear his little old legs out tonight, so he'd had to walk pretty far a piece up there and back. But he's been out a few times and doing fine. He's tolerating Bart okay. I did get, we got 80% of our elderberries in, so 4 out of 5 rows is planted. And thank goodness I got it in right ahead of this good little shower we got this morning. Nothing hard, probably 1/4 inch total, but just enough to get those watered in, and they'll be coming right on. Probably another month or two, we'll have them up a couple of feet high. So I'm excited about that. Let me prop up on the old well here and do a roll call, see where everybody's checking in from, and we'll call it an evening. Sorry about the blip at the beginning of the live feed. I don't know where I lost it at, so I guess it'll have to be what it is. If I go back and notice it didn't come through, I'll just have to tell it again. This is a good one. Made me laugh anyway. There's Phelps checking in. I think he said that earlier. Hey, evening to you, sir. There's Miss April out North Carolina way. My buddy in Laneville, Kevin.